I love myself some good Yuri manga. There's nothing that hits quite like a good comfy Yuri manga while I'm laying in bed ready to go to sleep. Last year I decided on a whim to really start reading the genre, and I haven't turned back. And in the depths of my exploration, I came across a series that has seared itself into my mind. A series that oozes melancholy and sadness, all while watching women love women. And with the recently announced anime adaptation, I'd like to talk about the saddest Yuri manga I've ever read, Kimishinu, or I Want to Love You Until Your Dying Day. So many of the Yuri manga I've read have been high school dramas about two high schoolers falling in love and all the difficulties that come with that. Whereas Kimishinu is a fantasy series that has a magic school, in a sense, but it exists so far beyond that. Kimishinu is a story of Shina and Mimi finding solace in each other in their unique situation. The main point around Mimi is that she is gifted with immortality. She can die and come right back to do it the next day. And the ongoing war makes ample use of her. She knows nothing but the battlefield, returning home each day bloodied and battered in pieces and whatever else they can muster up. It's such a sad sight to see this kid who starts off as this void who has spent the vast majority of her life on the battlefield. She's subjected to constant death and rebirth because she can be tossed out there and come back just fine. It also doesn't help that she's also immensely powerful, so she can basically just solo battles. She's surrounded by this aura of sadness because she's never been allowed to live a life of her own. And everyone in her life treats her as disposable. The scenes of seeing Mimi come back as basically a bag full of body parts is gut-wrenching. She's nothing more than a tool to be tossed out and rebuilt to them, and it hurts every single time to watch this poor girl go through that. While reading it, sometimes it filled me with this immense sadness. Tears just started flowing and my heart sank into the abyss. To think that Mimi has lived so much of her life like this is devastating. But then Sheena enters her life and gives Mimi something new to live for. Kimishinu works so well because it is this balance of deep sadness and melancholy while also giving the reader the joy of watching Mimi start to gain things in her life that can bring some of her humanity back. It's so heartwarming to see Mimi and Sheena navigate their relationship and try to find their piece of happiness in the midst of this endless suffering. Watching Sheena want to help Mimi whatever way she can and the way the two try to find their balance is so compelling as a romance, but also just as characters for both of them. The appeal of Kimishinu to me, besides the Yuri, which is enough of the appeal as it is the melancholy of the series and the world surrounding it. The orphanage trains these children to go to war, where so many are going to die brutal deaths. Meanwhile, Mimi is sent out day after day to send herself to death and back. Nothing about the situation feels good, but watching the characters try and feel some semblance of joy in their lives is so immensely important to me. These girls are living in hell, and they're trying to find a speck of happiness amidst it all. It compels me to keep reading to hopefully see these girls eventually find some lasting happiness. But to fully talk about Kimishinu, I have to delve into spoilers because of a specific scene that has stabbed a hole in my chest whenever I think about it. It is by far the saddest scene I've ever read in a Yuri manga, and is up there with some of the saddest scenes I've read in manga in general. So here I'll be spoiling everything beyond chapter 12, so here's your warning. Based on the anime trailer, the scene will probably hit just as hard as the manga did, so continue your own discretion. You should read the manga, it's great. Riza Siren's arc in Kimishinu is one of the saddest character arcs I've read in a while. She's so determined to go to war. While her steadfast nature is admirable, it's also so tragic. Her upbringing in the wreckage of war and the happiness she's found that she feels the need to repay. She wants to be of use, but none of this situation feels good. At the end of the day, Siren is just a 14-year-old kid just like Mimi. She shouldn't be going off to war, she should still be studying. And in the midst of this all is Ari, who deeply loves Siren, but has to go through all this pain to support the one she loves. Siren wants to go to war to protect those she loves, but in turn she'll only end up hurting Ari. It's this deadlock of sadness that can only really end one way. And the series shows you almost immediately that Siren is not cut out for this as she comes back emotionally ruined from having to take a life. And it all echoes back to the fact that this is a child. A 14-year-old kid, or really anyone in general, should not have to deal with taking a life of another human being. And a child especially is not equipped to process that, and the fact that the war is bringing children into it makes things so much worse. And then we reach chapter 14, a chapter that makes me cry just knowing what is about to happen. The sight of knowing what is going to happen kills me. I wanted to make a video on Kimishinu because of how good this chapter is. When I tried to read it to talk about it and to get notes, my hand hesitated to turn the page. It knew what was coming and instinctively told me, no, don't go there, you don't want to do this. Seeing Siren so scared and clutching Ari's gift so tightly ruins me. She is by no means ready to be here, but she is. And so we get to watch her struggle to survive until the fateful moment happens and Siren's shot by magic. Watching her cling on to her life is so sad, I really can't put into words the emptiness it makes me feel. And to have to watch her disappear into thin air, leaving only the necklace, is cruel. No body left to return home, the only one to witness her die is Mimi. And there's an ounce of solace in that, at least someone she cares like to see her die. But to see Mimi shocked holding the pendant is such a simple panel, but it hurts so much to look at. And then to juxtapose that with the other people just continuing on with their lives makes me hurt even more. As an aside, it is diabolical to have an extra chapter of Ari and Siren right after her death. Like, that's up there with some of the most sicko choices in storytelling. You did not need to do that at all. That hurts. Like, you can chill. That's too much for me to handle. But it ties nicely into the other devastating part of the arc, which is Ari's aftermath of all. Seeing Ari after Siren's death hurts my soul. Watching her fall apart because a girl she loved died so abruptly is painful. She's just broken in a way that I've only seen a handful of series really dive into. But what I like is that the series doesn't just let Ari get over it. She's on an incredibly slow journey towards her new normal, but that's perfect for the level of grief she is experiencing. She is 14 years old. This is a child. They are not prepared to deal with grief in any capacity, especially not to lose the one they love. As I'm sure I've made note, I'm a sucker for stories dealing with grief. It's such a unique feeling that is handled in such interesting ways in stories. The best ones really take their time to make the characters grieve and show how it affects them as they go through the grieving process. I think something like Ikoku Nikki is a masterful example of that. And seeing Ari grieve and others caring for her in whatever ways they can is so important to me, because grief is always this painful experience, and to have a support system for that makes me happy. And the way the series folds Mimi's character arc into it is so good. This child who's known nothing but war is beginning to really understand life and its value, and that's awesome, and I love it so much. Kimi Shinu is a series that has such a rich cast of characters that go through so much. The setting definitely helps with that, since these girls are in an incredibly fucked up situation, but they still have their own unique struggles and growth needed to become full human beings. Whether it be Mimi's gradual understanding of her humanity and the value of life, Ari's grieving process, or Shina's desire to be a rock for Mimi. There's so much about Kimi Shinu to love, despite the gut-wrenching sadness it delves into, so I hope and pray that the anime gets the attention it needs to expose more people to one of the best Yuri manga I've ever read. At least from the trailer, it looks like we are in for a treat. And while we're here, read more Yuri manga. It's really not that hard, there's so many available to read. We need them lasting more than like a volume, I just want more to read. We really just need more people reading Yuri in general, so that I can have more Yuri to read officially. So if you need no one else to do it for me. I want to read more Yuri manga.